If today feels slightly pressured, like things are moving but also testing you, like you're being pulled in different directions again, this isn't random. Expansion always brings pressure, not to break your direction, but to test it. Over the past few days, you've built momentum. You've opened new pathways. You've started to expand. And now you're seeing what holds. You may notice more demands on your attention, more options, more decisions, more situations that require your response. And that can feel different from yesterday. Less open, more active. Less about possibility, more about choice. Because when opportunity appears, it requires direction. You can't follow everything. You can't respond to everything. You have to choose. And that's where the pressure comes in. You may feel pulled between what is aligned and what is available, between what you know matters and what is asking for your attention. And that tension is the test, not of your ability to expand, but of your ability to stay aligned while expanding. Because it's easy to grow when things are simple. It's easy to stay focused when options are limited. But when things open up, when multiple paths become visible, when your energy is in demand, that's where direction can shift, subtly, gradually, without you fully noticing at first. So, if today feels more active, more demanding, more like you need to stay aware, it's because your alignment is being tested, not to stop your growth, but to strengthen it. What you're experiencing today is not resistance, it's activation. When expansion begins, it doesn't just create opportunity, it increases demand. Demand for your attention, demand for your energy, demand for your decisions. Because growth requires direction, and direction requires choice. That's what you're stepping into now, the moment where possibility turns into responsibility. You're no longer just seeing options, you're being asked to engage with them, to decide, to prioritize, to commit. And that's where pressure builds. Not because something is wrong, but because your energy is now more valuable. You have more access, more movement, more influence over your direction. And with that comes the need to manage it. You may notice that things feel more immediate today, situations requiring response, decisions needing clarity, opportunities asking for action. And it can feel like everything is happening at once, but it's not. It's your awareness expanding. You're seeing more, and because you're seeing more, you feel responsible for more. That's the shift, from passive growth to active direction. And that's where the challenge appears. Because when everything feels available, everything can feel important, but it's not. Some things are aligned, some things are not. Some things are worth your energy, some things are distractions. But in this phase, they can feel similar, because they all present themselves at the same time. And that's why awareness is critical today. Not just awareness of what is happening, but awareness of what matters. Because your energy is now distributed, and where it goes determines what grows. So what you're feeling today is not overwhelm, it's expansion being organized through your choices. This is where today becomes decisive. Because when everything feels active, it's easy to lose your center. You may feel pulled to respond quickly, to handle everything, to keep up with every demand, to move at the pace of what's happening around you. And that's where alignment begins to slip. The first trap is reactive decision-making, responding to what is immediate instead of what is important. Something shows up and you act on it, not because it's aligned, but because it's there, because it's asking for your attention, because it feels urgent. And when that happens repeatedly, your direction shifts. Not in one big moment, but through small, consistent reactions. The second trap is equalizing everything. Treating every option, every opportunity, every situation as if it deserves the same level of attention. But it doesn't. Some things are core, some things are peripheral. And if you don't make that distinction, your energy spreads out. And when energy spreads out, momentum weakens. There's also a subtler pattern today, the need to prove progress, feeling like you need to show movement, to respond, to act, to demonstrate that you're moving forward. And that can lead to unnecessary actions, doing things just to feel like you're doing something. But movement without alignment doesn't build, it drains. And over time, it creates confusion again. Because you lose sight of what actually matters. So the real calibration today is discipline in choice. Not reacting to everything, but selecting what deserves your response. You don't need to engage with every situation. You don't need to act on every opportunity. You just need to stay connected to your direction and let that guide your decisions, even when other things are pulling at you, even when it feels easier to just respond to what's in front of you. Because what makes today powerful is not how much you handle, it's how accurately you choose. And those choices are what determine whether your expansion holds or begins to scatter. So how do you stay aligned when everything is asking for your attention? You return to your center, not by shutting things out, but by deciding what actually matters. Because today is not about doing more, it's about choosing better. Start by identifying your core direction. What are you already building? What has already proven to be aligned? What remains clear even when things get busy? That's your anchor. And everything else gets measured against it. If something supports that direction, it deserves your energy. If it doesn't, it can wait or be removed completely. You can also create intentional limits, not restrictions, but boundaries. Decide how much energy you're willing to give and stay within that. Because when your energy is limited, your choices become clearer. You stop reacting and start selecting. You may also find it helpful to slow your response time, not your movement, but your reaction. When something appears, pause briefly, just enough to ask, does this belong in my direction? That small pause prevents misalignment and keeps your movement clean. You can also simplify your focus. Instead of trying to manage everything, choose a few key areas and stay there. Let other things remain open, because not everything needs resolution today. Some things are simply showing you what exists, not what you need to act on. So today, stay centered, not by controlling everything, but by controlling your direction. Because when your direction is clear, everything else becomes easier to filter. And that's how you move through pressure without losing alignment. Let everything settle here. Not to remove the pressure, but to stabilize how you move within it. Because today was not about avoiding demand, it was about how you respond to it, what you choose, what you prioritize, what you allow to take your energy. So take a breath, steady, controlled, unforced, and notice what remains when you step back from everything asking for your attention. There's a clearer sense of direction here. Not everything matters equally. Not everything needs you. And that awareness is what keeps you aligned. Because pressure doesn't break direction, reaction does. And when you stop reacting to everything, your direction becomes stronger, more defined, more stable, more consistent. So not everything you saw today needs to be handled. Not every opportunity needs to be taken. Not every situation needs your response. Some things can exist without your involvement. And when you allow that, your energy stays focused, your movement stays intentional, and your growth stays aligned. So as you move forward from here, keep returning to that. What actually matters? What is already aligned? What supports your direction? Stay there. Let everything else pass. Because when your attention is controlled, your direction holds. And when your direction holds, your expansion becomes sustainable. Not scattered, not reactive, but built on clarity. So carry that with you, this ability to stay centered even when everything is active. And if this helped you feel more grounded, even slightly, return to it when pressure rises again. And if you want to keep moving through these shifts with more awareness, more control, you can come back here. Each day, not to manage everything, but to stay aligned with what matters.